Emily Dickinson was an American lyric poet who is noted for her eloquent, concise, and deceptively simple verses. Dickinson was educated at Amherst Academy and Mount Holyoke Female Seminary. Though she began to write verse around 1850, only a handful of her 1,775 poems can be dated before 1858, when she began to collect them into small hand-sewn booklets. In the 1850s, she began two of her significant correspondences with Dr. and Mrs. Josiah G. Holland and with Samuel Bowles. The two men were editors of the Springfield Mass Republican, a paper that took an interest in literary matters. Dickinson's poems of the 1850s are fairly conventional in sentiment and form, but beginning in 1860, she began to experiment with both language and prosody. Her prevailing poetic form was the quatrain in 3 iambic feet, but she used many other forms as well, lending complexity to even the simpler hymn book measures by constantly altering the metrical beat to fit her thought. She broke new ground in her wide use of off-rhymes. In striving for an epigrammatic conciseness, she stripped her language of superfluous words. She tampered freely with syntax and liked to place a familiar word in an extraordinary context. In 1862, Dickinson wrote to a literary man, Thomas Wentworth Higginson, asking his opinion of her work. Higginson, although he advised Emily not to publish, recognized her originality of her poems and remained her preceptor for the rest of her life. After 1862, she resisted all efforts by her friends to put her verse before the public. Only 7 poems were published during her lifetime, 5 of them in the Springfield Republican. In 1864 and 1865, persistent eye trouble caused her to live several months in Cambridge, Massachusetts, where she sought treatment. Once back in Amherst, she never traveled again, and after the late 1860s, never left the boundaries of the family's property. After the Civil War, she sought increasingly to regulate her life by the rules of art. Her letters, some of them equal in artistry to her poems, classicized daily experience in an epigrammatic style. By 1870, she was dressing only in white and saw few of the callers who came to the homestead. Her seclusion was fiercely guarded by her devoted sister, Lavinia. Soon after Dickinson's death, Lavinia determined to have Emily's poems, published. In 1990, Poems by Emily Dickinson, edited by T.W. Higginson and Mabel Loomis Todd, appeared. Other volumes of Dickinson poems, edited chiefly by Mabel Loomis Todd, Martha Dickinson Bianchi, Emily's niece, and Millicent Todd Bingham, were published between 1891 and 1957. And in 1955, Thomas H. Johnson edited all the surviving poems and their variant verses.